Mr. Wall Street. My hustle get this money till the day that I die. I don't want half, I want the whole damn pie. You can see it in my eyes, I'm hard on the grind. Mr. Wall Street, Mr. Wall Street. My hustle get this money till the day that I die. I don't want half, I want the whole damn pie. You can see it in my eyes, I'm hard on the grind. Mr. Wall Street.
Yeah, my portfolio's diversified. Niggas ain't got long money, your dough is circumcised. Vested in Euro yens, cop the Euro Benz. Used to have that white girl, you know that European. I'm something like a boss, even when the mic goes off. We good, vested in Microsoft. They say patience is a virtue, we understand that. That's why it's cake up in my circle. And I'm climbing the charts, Dow Jones, victory lap. Then I get my bow on. While you chase bank, I'm up in Chase Bank. I live on Dun and Bradstreet, and I should thank Frank.
Well, hustle get this money till the day that I die. I don't want them, I want the whole damn pie. You can see it in my eyes, I'm hard on the ground. Mr. Wall Street, Mr. Wall Street. My hustle get this money till the day that I die. I don't want them, I want the whole damn pie. You can see it in my eyes, I'm hard on the ground. Mr. Wall Street.
Yeah, I'm on that money horse, American Express. Debitors, buried in your debt. I got a new, her name Merrill Lynch. She got me hooked and addicted like she was heroin. Bad credit, no credit line. You eating off your baby mamas, that fair line. You dudes are starving, no dinner time. I'm eating sirloin steaks and sipping better wine. I hang with brokers, they watch my cheddar climb. His shadow government, the Moorish paradigm. And this is for my legacy. I'm Mr. Wall Street, my money never sleeps.
My hustle get this money till the day that I die. I don't want half, I want the whole damn pie. You can see it in my eyes, I'm hard on the grind. Mr. Wall Street, Mr. Wall Street. My hustle get this money till the day that I die. I don't want half, I want the whole damn pie. You can see it in my eyes, I'm hard on the grind. Mr. Wall Street.
I hustle hard, I'm on my job. I got a new connect, his name Charles Schwab. Old money mixed with new like a rock child. A garden gecko with no financial lockouts. If I'm boxed in, then we gon' box it out. Like Mayweather versus Pacquiao, but I ain't backing out. I'm weighing in just to lay it on his chin. Plus it's a cash bow. Fat shouts to Michael Milkins, my stock market rap milking that cash cow. So how rich can they truly be when we were shown our vast estates by no bourgeois?
My hustle get this money till the day that I die. I don't want half, I want the whole damn pie. You can see it in my eyes, I'm hard on the grind. Mr. Wall Street, Mr. Wall Street. My hustle get this money till the day that I die. I don't want half, I want the whole damn pie. You can see it in my eyes, I'm hard on the grind. Mr. Wall Street, Mr. Wall Street. My hustle get this money till the day that I die. I don't want half, I want the whole damn pie. You can see it in my eyes, I'm hard on the grind. Mr. Wall Street.
How's everybody doing today? I am Mr. Wall Street coming to you live. Just give me 1 second. Let me set my charts up here. Bam. Hopefully you guys can see the charts. Now let's get to it. I give you guys the introduction video and have a good, feel of my background. Some of the things I've been involved in this market. I've been in this market for probably over 17 years. I love the forex markets. I love crypto. My baby is forex mainly because it's the market that pays me. It is the market that has the most movement. For those of you that aren't familiar with my approach and my strategy, I recommend that you go to my YouTube page. It's just under my name, Reginald Ringgold. You can look me up there and follow some of the videos and just get a good feel of my routine. But with that being said, without further ado, let's just kind of get started. I want to start with geopolitical news. Okay. So what I mean by that is we want to go to Bloomberg. And the reason that we go to Bloomberg is because we want to look to see if there's any big news headlines or any black swan events going on geopolitically. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking to see if there's anything that's rattling the whole market, okay, the market as a whole. It only takes a few seconds to look, at Bloomberg or Yahoo Finance to get a good idea as to what the market sentiment is. We saw a couple of days ago the market was very volatile, and for those that were trading in the equities market, trading in the indices markets as well, you probably experienced a bit of a ripple. And just checking the sentiment will kind of help you engaging the market before you just dive in. I see nothing of concern here, so I'm just going to move on to my next step. Okay. Now you want to go to Forex Factory. Forex Factory News. Now, on Forex Factory, I'm looking to see if there's any major geopolitical news coming out, but also just news that impacts any particular currencies that I'm looking to get into or any currency pairs that I'm already in. So you can see now the only thing that we have to worry about is some news coming out at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, okay, for New Zealand. Now, the one thing I want to do is I want to make sure that this measures up with my time, so I'm going to sync it automatically. Excellent. All right. So anybody who's trading or thinking about getting into any New Zealand pairs, make sure that you're cautious of this New Zealand Reserve Bank of New Zealand press release. This is the New Zealand Central Bank, and any press release or statements that come out from a central bank can cause a currency to move significantly. This is why you see that it's a red factory, so it has a high impact. Now, earlier, we saw that we had more New Zealand news that came out, so it probably had been a good time to just stay out of New Zealand, really, for the later part of the day, considering that there is news coming out during the Asian session. There was no real major news that we had to worry about earlier. Really, it was just all New Zealand. And then we have some China news. Now, China's a bit of it's a tricky one, because a lot of you don't trade the yuan, but China is prevalent in trade as it pertains to all the nations worldwide. So with that being said, they have an impact on a lot of other nations and their currencies because they're pretty big on trade and import and export. So with that being said, China's currency can have a pretty significant impact on the rest of the currencies, much like the dollar has, if you start to see a big enough move in the Chinese yuan. But for now, I'm going to be a little cautious as it pertains to trading New Zealand and Australian dollar, as well as the yuan. Now, with that being said, let's go to my indicator. Okay, I want to show you guys my indicator, introduce it to some of you guys that are not familiar with it. Give me a second. Let's see if I For those of you that aren't familiar with it, you can get the URL at the top here. Okay, and it is a Forex relative strength indicator. That means it plots strength and weakness of the currencies for specific time frames. So for us, we're going to be mainly day traders and swing traders. So my main focus is going to be on the daily, the weekly, and the monthly. So I'm looking at the pair that's at the top, the one that's moving the most. Right now, you can actually see that New Zealand yen is the top mover on all three of them, and they're all bearish. If I put Control F, you can see NZD, JP. All three at the top, they're all bearish. Okay, that means that I want to be a bear. I want to be shorting this. Okay, so I'm going to go to New Zealand yen now. Now, why would I want to go to New Zealand yen first? It's because it's moving the most out of all of them. And I also got an insight of its direction. Okay, so when you're looking at the market, a lot of us, we want to typically use or go to the pair that we're comfortable with, or the one that's first on our routine list. And it's not always the one that's moving. When you're trading in the market, you want to make sure that you're trading with movement. You're trading with volatility. In order to know what's moving, you can use indicators to help you screen the market. Well, me and my developers, we've created this indicator to be able to help professional traders and retail traders alike be able to go in and be able to plot which direction and the velocity of momentum that the currency pair is moving in. So I'll show you a little bit more in detail on how it works a little later as you guys get more familiar with me. But for now, let's just roll straight on in. I'm just going straight to the money, right? We're speaking Guapanese here. So let's get to these pips. I like Aussie yen, and I'm a shorter, selling, okay? AUD, JPY. And as you can see, my chart's all dressed up, so I'm gonna clean it up. And I wanna start with my weekly, okay? I wanna start with my weekly so I can kind of get a good feel of the trend. Now, right now, this is kind of like a one-off move, so I'm gonna really ignore it. And I'm going to look at the overall big picture and say it's in a downtrend, okay? Price action actually just broke below here. And one of the significant things that I like here, you guys can actually see this. This is something very significant. Hold on there. Uh-oh. Okay, you see here, price broke through this trend line. And this is on a weekly. This trend line's been respected for quite some time. It finally decided to break through the trend line, and it could end up going down further, or it may end up coming back up to bounce off the trend line. Nonetheless, it's a very significant sign for the bears. It's also a significant sign showing that we've got a nice topping tail, a nice bearish candle. One thing I can say that I genuinely love is that this move to the downside wiped out anything that I had in my way. That means that it's nothing but clear sales ahead for the bears. Now, if I'm looking at the daily gives me the same sentiment. I'm now starting to form in a downtrend. I also got a topping tail that just got rejected off of not only the trend line, but it rejected off the moving average. I see nothing but bearish movement to the downside. Now, I would be cautious as you're shorting. Watch price when it gets down to around the 76.06, really 76 level, okay? At the 76.06, $76 level is where you're going to probably find some bulls come in, as there's probably some unfilled orders left from this explosive move to the upside there. But that's still some really good movement that you have from 77.11 all the way down to 76.06. So I'm going to go down to my 4 hour, and on my 4 hour, I want to look for something that's going to give me something significant. All right. Now, one of the things that I can say that I do like, I hope you guys are paying attention here because I'm giving you some juice. Okay. This is some good juice. Look at that. Look at that. Ooh. Okay. We got a nice little drop there. You see how price, bam, 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 went up and it got rejected off of it. All of a sudden, it shot through. Price comes back down. We expect that if it does come back up, it'll reject off that area again and give us a nice push to the downside. I'd be looking for a bearish move in that area there. I also have the trend line that is in my favor, where price could reject off the trend line and give me a push to the downside, further to the downside. So let's go to the next one. Let's go to dollar yen. I'm gonna hit submit again so that I can actually see what's the biggest mover, what's moving. All right. For now, it looks like, you see how quick these things move? It's no longer dollar yen. It's now Aussie yen. So you definitely want to, and I hope you guys can understand that. I mean, if I was looking at old analysis, I'd be looking at something that was a mover, but is no longer the biggest or second biggest mover. So in this case, we just looked at Aussie yen, now New Zealand yen happens to be a little bit better. New Zealand yen, all bearish. I think New Zealand yen might have been our original pair. Nonetheless, doesn't really matter. All right, let's clean this up. All right, I really like New Zealand. You can actually see it moving with a lot more velocity than Aussie yen was moving. It's because it's a lot weaker. The New Zealand is a lot weaker than the Australian dollar right now. So in looking at this chart, the area that I like how price came, bounced off of here, and then rallied back up. You also saw a little pause right there. So this is an area that I would say I respect. I give a lot of respect to that. And what you could simply do is just add an alert, to your trade there and notify you as soon as price gets up to that area. Okay. Another significant area that I would probably pay attention to. It's very far away, but you can actually see that this whole little area right here was just sweet. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go too far over your head, but I am going to use a little bit of Fibonacci here. I hope you guys like Fibonacci. Let's see Fibonacci retracement. Let's go to the top to the bottom. Okay. And look at that. What do you know? I mean, ooh, I'm getting chills right now. It just looks so good. I'm getting thrills right now. Look at it. It's for real right now. It bounced off the 236. Went up, rejected off the 382. We came down, got a pause around the 382, and then dropped. Now, look, I got the 236 right here in my area, in my sweet spot. And then if I go a little bit higher at the 50% retracement, where this area I said was significant, you also have the 50% retracement and this nice little drop where I see some unfilled order flow there. Price came back down and it bounced off here too. So if I was to be politically correct, I could cover this whole area as a significant area. You saw what happened when it bounced there. Price came through, bounced off again, broke through. What do you think happens when it comes back? It was a floor, went through, now it's a ceiling. Same thing applies here, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're following this because this is very significant. It's support and resistance at its finest, but it's also unfilled order flow. So I've found the trade. Now let's go to the higher time frames to make sure my analysis is with me as far as trend and big picture and cycle. So it's safe to say that price action is very bearish. The one thing I do not like is how parabolic to the downside it is and how far away we are from our moving averages. Typically, when price gets very far away from your 21 period moving average and parabolic, it typically pulls back. Same thing here. Look how far away it was from the moving average at this apex, and then it came back. Same thing here. Went down, went very far away, and then what did it do? It came back. So when you get price to move far away, it reverts back to its median. Moves far away, snaps back to the mean. One other thing that's significant is you also have to look here at that 72.37 level, or really 72.30. I mean, if this is a weekly, it bounced off of it, and it did that for probably what? Almost 2 months? Bounced off of here? Price broke through, but now we're back here. You don't think it's going to respect it? Yes. This is why it's kind of hovering in this area. But nonetheless, it's still bearish, mainly because I really don't have anything in my way as far as a floor. If we get past here, this candlestick is wiped out a lot to the left. Now going to the daily. Again, it's just nice, drops to the downside. It's in a nice downtrend. Price could consolidate a bit before it ends up, seeing more movement to the downside. You never know. One thing I do like is that it's already made it through this area here, okay? So we'll see what happens. But this is a very good sell. So what are you looking for? I'm looking for topping tails. I'd be looking for this candlestick here. I'm going to draw it out for you, too. I might as well do that shit. I'm sitting with my good buddy Chandler, okay? One of IML's finest. Say hi to him, Chandler. Yeah, Chandler's getting some good jewels here. So I'm going to show you guys exactly what you want to see in these areas, okay? And this is a topping tail. If I can get this candlestick, let me move this here. Second. If I can get this candlestick to form in there, it'd be all money. Let me get another one. Give me another one here. Hold on. Hold on. Let's move it around. It don't work. It don't want to do it. I'm gonna have to just create a brand new one. Oh well. I'm showing you guys the candlestick. Okay. Look at those candlesticks. These are topping tails. Okay. There's another pattern that I would be looking for that I would like to see inside there if it's not a topping tail. Okay. The next pattern that I would like to see. See if I can get this bad boy to move. Nah, that's a pretty new one. This right here is called a bearish engulfing. If I can get this bearish engulfing, and let me move it in so you can just see just two candles. Just the only one. Okay, those two right there. Bearish engulfing inside this area. Okay, I would love to see that. It's a very good candlestick formation in the right location. Okay, now let's see if I see any other bearish engulfings. Another one will be right here. Okay, that's a bearish engulfing. That's a bearish engulfing. This is a bearish engulfing and a topping tail. All of those actions, love to see that in that area there. Okay. Now, let's move on to the next one. Is there any questions? Any questions in there? Let me see if anybody got any questions. All right. So, and feel free to ask any questions if you guys have questions. I'll typically try to hold the questions for the end of the session, but now notice I'm going at a quarter of the market. I'm not moving based on a random pair, okay? I'm also not moving based on a signal that could be old. I'm moving based on something that is actionable right now. So we'll hit submit. And taking a look at it, let's see, hold on, wait for it to load. I think dollar yen might be the second one, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So you can actually see that we only see it right now on one pair or one time frame. It doesn't show up on the weekly or the monthly, and that's mainly because they're both strong on the weekly, and the dollar is relatively strong, both strong, and the yen strong on the monthly. So if you look here, you can see the yen is stronger than the dollar, so it's also red. Same thing, yen stronger than the dollar, so it's also red. Yen is absolutely the strongest currency pair right now on the block. So that being said, I want to short. So I'm going to go to dollar yen. You guys can see I usually have my charts, marked up a bit, but that's okay. And I use the moving averages because they give me a guide. They let me know what's going on. They help me to be able to see, where price is going. Okay. Now I'm going to chart some things for you guys, and based on these areas, these are areas that I'm looking to buy. I'm sorry, to short or to sell at. Okay. I'm going to take this whole general area right here and say, okay, I would like to shorten this general area. If price can give me a pullback, oh, I would love it. Okay. In fact, if I look at the average range of the move, let me show you a measured move. Look at this move here. The move up from the bulls. Okay. If I measure that move, you can measure it relative to here. It's relatively the same move up, right? I measure it to this. It's relatively the same distance, right? I measure it there. It's relatively the same distance, isn't it? So watch this. If price rallies up from there, what do you get? Voila, a measured move. Okay, so I'm expecting price to come down and give me some nice movement, okay, in this area here, and maybe give me a reversal in that area. If I don't get price to reverse in this particular area, and let's say it breaks through, I've got another area that I'm looking at. I'll tell you what it is. It's this one. And I'm going to get rid of this. I don't need this one. Ah, darn it. Hold on. I don't know why it gave me that. Okay. So I'm looking in this area there. This area is a significant area, but more so move it up. Right on in there. Okay. These are your key areas where you could be looking to short at. One more. I missed one, Chandler. I got one more right here. I don't know, some of you are like, what do you see? Why are you seeing this stuff? And a lot of it has to do with fulcrums and whole points, as well as areas that the price is respected and little prices where prices pause and give an opportunity for price to hop back in. So now, I'm going to go to my higher time frame. I don't really like this this trend that much, but one thing I will say, if you do look here, you can actually see price is sitting at this 200 period moving average, which is a very significant point. It came last time to the 200 period moving average. What did it do? It bounced off of it and rallied to the upside. So we'll see what happens with this candlestick here. But for now, my momentum is to the downside. My momentum is bearish, but the problem is I'm already here. I don't want to short down here. I want you guys to understand the significance of this. I don't mind shorting as price rallies back up in that area. But for me to short down here where we've already shown this is a low, we're already sitting at a moving average, it's not a good area, okay? Now, same thing kind of applies. This is not a downtrend, okay? A lot of you are looking at this and saying, well, it's a downtrend, it's moving down. No, this whole range is sideways. If I take this and I was to draw out this whole area, you would tell me that price has been range bound on the daily in this range for a while. That's why I don't want to short down here. I also don't feel that good shorting in the middle either. So now you see why big picture makes sense. So I'm going to get rid of that. I don't like that. I like up here. You see what I mean, guys? When you're range bound, you want to go long at the bottom of the range. You want to short at the top of the range. Okay? Give me a 1 if you guys are feeling me there. Give me a 1 if you see me. Type a 1. Type a 2 if you just don't understand me, you're just completely lost. Okay, good. So if we're at the bottom of this range, I'm a buyer. Top of the range, I'm a seller. Since the indicator says that we should be bearish, since our analysis says that we should be bearish based on the sentiment of the candles, that means that I want to be shorting up there. I'm going to get rid of that so it doesn't distort the candlestick. Okay. I'm going to go back to my 4-hour, and I'm going to be even happier about trading up in this area. And even up here. That means I'm going to start staking my claim up here. Now, a lot of you are saying, well, it's going to take a long time to get there. Set an alert. Okay? Set an alert. Go do something else. Hold on 1 second there. Give me a second. Remove that. Okay. I don't know what I just did. Hold on. There you go. All right. So I'm going to draw this area again. And let me see here. So if I go here and I grab my Fibonacci tool, measure from the top of the move all the way to the bottom of the move, you can actually kind of see what lines up a bit. I have a 50% retracement right there and a 681 here. You also have the 786 lining up with that level right there. So you guys can kind of see the significance. Now, I don't like all of this cluster of candles, so this one's not as good. That area is not too good. The ones that are, I say, kind of appealing to me is in here, okay, and in there. All right, now let's see where it went. So you notice how parabolic and how far down price is. You're expecting it to rally up. If you're an aggressive trader and you find an area where you can go long or the trend says go long, those are opportunities to take a counter trend. But we don't want to do that now. Let's move on. Let's look at Swiss yen. I'm going to skip yen pairs and just go to Euro New Zealand because most of them kind of look the same. They're all correlated. So typically, if you go to all yen pairs, most of the chart will typically move the same because yen's the quote on all of them. Now on Euro New Zealand, notice Euro New Zealand is sitting and it's giving us a little stair step, right? But it's got green, green, green. That means it's bullish on all of our different time frames. And it's moving. I want to be long. Euro New Zealand. Let's see what we find. These charts are cleaned. Got to clean them up. And we're just coming off a lot of movement. I don't like when I see a whole bunch of stuff like this, okay? All this action is just not good. But nonetheless, I see some hidden jewels, Chandler. I do. I see some hidden rocks in here. Ooh, this is special. Now I'm going to turn that green because we're bullish. Now I'm going to teach you guys how to find these areas that I'm finding and plotting, okay? And show you why I consider them significant, okay? So that, I like that. I like that a lot, okay? I'm quite fond of it. I might want to take it out. Now, I like that too, okay? These areas here are just so special for me. So if I could see price come back in and retrace back into this area here, this is my sweet spot where I'm looking to buy, okay? Now let's look at the weekly and see what the weekly says. Now, a lot of you will probably say it's a uptrend, right? Some of you look at this whole thing and say it's a downtrend, okay? But this is sideways. It's range bound, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. Do you see what I see? Do you see what I see? I sure hope you do, baby. Now, look at that. It's range bound. It's been choppy. Bounced up there, came down, hasn't done it too much, so it still has room to maybe keep moving up and down. So I want you to get outside of looking in between each little candle and look at the whole big picture. Step back. Look at the big picture. When you look at the big picture, you can actually see where price is going and where it has a probability of maybe turning, where it's been. Do you want to be going long up here? No, it's okay to go long right here, but not okay to be long right here, right now, or up here, okay? If I want to be long, best spot to be long is down there, right? But it could take forever for it to get down there. So with that being said, I'm a bear up there, bull down here. In the middle, I can go both ways. In this case, it's in the middle, okay? So I'm going to be a bull because the indicator is telling me that it's bullish. And what trend do we have on the daily? We have an uptrend on the daily. I got a nice higher low here relative to that low. I have a nice higher low here relative to this one. And then there's another higher low here relative to this low. We also got consecutive higher highs, okay? So price is in a nice uptrend. And, ooh, Chandler, I'm about to hit it with a bomb. I hope they're paying attention. Watch this. Ooh, watch this. Look at these moving averages right there. You guys see these moving averages right here? I have two moving averages sitting right here inside this general location where I have two areas where I'm looking to be bullish. It could very much well cause price to bounce off them like it did here or like it did here, right? Notice how price respects these moving averages when it's actually trending. It's respecting the 8 there. Here it respected it there, okay? Notice how it was respecting the 8 there. When price rides the moving average, you typically see that you can get a nice move. If not, you see sometimes it's in a channel. Here, price was in a channel. And I can actually draw this. You can actually see there. I'm trying to see where I plot the bottom of it, bottom of the channel. Don't hold me to it because I feel like I want to move it. There it goes. All right. So you can see that channel. You guys see that channel there? All right. And the low. Price came in, rallied, and shot up. So now it's an uptrend. Now we're bullish. Very bullish, might I add. So if I go back to my 4-hour, what does it tell me? It tells me that I like this. I like this area, right? I want to be a buyer in the area. Problem is a lot of you guys end up just going and just jumping in. Instead of setting areas where you want to be bullish, want to be bearish, then looking at the trend, you just hop in. If I'm able to read these charts and I'm able to look at the sentiment, I'm able to gain trend, I can use that to be able to enter my trade effectively. Now let's move on. So I gave you my coordinates for this. That means be a buyer around $1.68, $1.68.50. Okay? $1.68 is where you want to be going long. If it goes through that area, then you're a buyer at $1.67. Okay? Have a backup plan. I'm moving fast, but I'm giving you areas where you want to be going long. Okay? Now, for some of you that are just very aggressive, you might want to take this trade right here, and I don't blame you. It's okay. It's okay. You can take this one too if you want to. It's fine. Because what do you have? You have all this in your favor. All this. That was a roof. Bounced off that ceiling a couple of times. Went through the ceiling, and now it may use it as a floor. Okay, so I also like that area too. But I'm a guy who's a deep retracement guy. And I also am cognizant that up here, this is higher up in the area of the base in that sideways range that we saw on the weekly. So the higher we get up, the higher we go long up in this range, the closer we get to this overall ceiling up here. All right, moving on. I'm going to hit submit again. That way we can see what it's doing. Aussie, New Zealand. Look, do you guys see that? Look how fast it dropped down. Euro New Zealand was up here. And then it ended up dropping all the way down there to where it no longer matters. There are other pairs that are moving more with more velocity and force than Euro New Zealand at this point. So now if I go back and I start my analysis, already looked at the yen pairs. Now I'm going to look at Aussie New Zealand. What do I got? I have two bullish. And then over here, Aussie New Zealand happens to be bullish as well. How do I know? Because the Australian dollar is stronger than the New Zealand dollar on the monthly. So I'm bullish on all three time frames. Now let's go to the chart. Look at Aussie New Zealand. You guys seriously got to thank me for giving you this kind of analysis because I'm giving you areas to plot. I'm giving you areas to know what to do when you get in these general areas. And then I'm going to teach you how to read the candlestick so that you know what to do when. Okay? You'll know what to do when in the area I give you. Okay? So this is, again, bullish. Now, I'm going to clean my chart up. Now, as long as price doesn't come back down here before this candlestick closes, I would like this area. Okay? But for the most part, I will still respect it. So I like this area right here. Okay? I also like this area below it. I'm going to respect that whole thing. And last but not least, there is some stuff down there you got to be respecting. So all of those areas are pretty significant. Now, some of you are asking why, and it's not just because I said so, but I'm also going to use a little bit of Fibonacci. Now notice we got the 236 retracement right in the middle of there. And then this one here, okay, both these levels are sitting smack dab right near that 382. And you've got a 200 period moving average. Very significant, okay? Now, if I was to take my Fibonacci and bring it to this move here, and then make that bigger, I'm at the 50% retracement inside here, and I'm at the 786 retracement right inside this area, okay? So those are significant areas where we should be looking to buy, as Kramer would say. All right, now, going to look at the, ooh, this looks good. This is a very, very bullish move here, you guys, from the bulls over the last 4 weeks before we had these two bearish moves, okay? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So, very, very bearish move, but it didn't really have any follow through as the bulls came back and roared in. And one of the biggest reasons is because it bounced off that moving average, both moving averages, nonetheless. Now, if I was to look at this and say, okay, what do I like? What do I want to see? Well, I would like to see price action maybe give me a higher high with this candlestick rallying above, but it's a weekly. So all I can do is look to go long down in here. I don't want to be long up here. Same thing applies. It's moving upwards. You really don't have your pivots for this to be in an uptrend. Give me 1 second while I get some water. All right, it's Ramadan, and that's my first glass of water in like 10 hours. So I had to take that glass. My apologies. Whoo, I feel real good. Imagine no food, no water for hours until sunset. All right, I'm good. Let's get back to it. So you can see back down in here where you have this little cushion, okay? As my guy Teacup, dude, Teacup's name, the one who created the Teacup. I forgot his name, but he goes over the teacup strategy. This looks kind of like a cup, right? A little teacup. I expect price to come back into this little area right here and bounce off of this little area inside here, right? So that would mean price would look somewhat like this. Come in and bounce off the area. See that? Okay. So this is a very nice area where I expect price to respect. So if it can come back down there, then we will take it. So that means going back in, you can actually see where I'm forming my bias. Should I go long right now? No. Some of you just go trade off of signals. Some of you don't even do analysis. You just look at the one chart and find an entry or an opportunity to buy or sell and just hop in. You have to do your analysis. There needs to be a sit down time where you're plotting out your areas and you're plotting out your bias. If you're not doing this, then you're pretty much putting yourself in a situation where you're moving blindly. It's almost like driving with your eyes closed. Now, I'm not one of these rah instructors. I'm not going to promote about mindset, even though I believe mindset's important. I'm going real raw. This is pep talk. We speak Guapanese here at Trade House, and we want to give you guys the real sauce, okay, that you can use to help you cut your loss. And eventually turn into a boss, right? There we go. So with that being said, understanding my bias, understanding my trend, and areas where I want to be bullish, areas where I want to be bearish is going to help me so that when price gets there, I've already got my mindset. I already know what I want to do. I already know I want to be a buyer in a specific area. Look at all of this congestion. This was a ceiling when price was under it. Now that price is above it, look at it as a floor. Okay, please don't ignore it. You also can't ignore this. Look at this area here. There's a reason why price came in and respected that area and bounced off of this area. That means that when price comes back to it, you would expect it to respect it and either pause. It doesn't necessarily have to turn right there, but you would at least expect to see price pause in that area. Okay, let's move on. Aussie, New Zealand. Right now, it's the fifth one down. Let's see if it remains. And I'm just showing you how fast this thing moves. Everybody look at the screen. Make sure you're looking at the screen because watch. If it moves, see that? Boom, jumps again. Now, Aussie, New Zealand's still the fifth one, luckily, all right? But it could move if something else happens to have a movement or moves with velocity. Now, I'm going to go to Aussie dollar. Chandler, did we already look at Aussie dollar? I know me and you did personally, but did we do another session? All right. See, Chandler is smart. He comes over and gets extra analysis and extra training because he's dedicated about the market. I love Trade House. That's why I joined Trade House, because we're just nothing but just a bunch of traders in the house talking about trading, getting these pips. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. So I got the daily's bullish. That means today it's moving up. It could be an uptrend. It could be a bullish candlestick. The weekly, well, the weekly's bullish as well because the Aussie's stronger than the dollar. How do I know? Well, the Australian dollar's above the US dollar. Here it goes in order of strongest to weakest. Strongest at the top, with the weakest going all the way down to the bottom. So I'm bullish, okay? Now over here, bearish. I'm still gonna look to be bullish, okay? Now, I see a trade right now on the, I'm gonna go directly to the swipe trade, UCAD, okay? UCAD on the 1 hour. Everybody go to UCAD on the 1 hour. USD CAD, 1 hour, okay? Let's dissect this trade. This is a momentum trade, okay? Now, I like this candlestick. I love this candlestick a lot. It is a topping tail. This is your best friend when it comes to bearish movement, okay? This is one of the most powerful bearish candlesticks. It only has 10 minutes before this candlestick closes. And if this candlestick closes, then you could bet your bottom dollar that you're going to want to take this trade. So here's how you're going to take this trade. I'm going to give you guys a trade you can take before you leave the end of the session. This is a direct trade from swipe trades. I'm going to show you how to take it. And this is some of the benefits you guys are going to get with trading with me, okay? My goal is to be the top educator, okay, at IML under Chris Terry, who is the godfather of trading here at IML. Hats off to that man. Gotta give him a round of applause. I mean, for what he's built. I mean, man. Him and Isis De La Torre, I mean, they've done some great things here. Alex Morton, he's done some really amazing things. David was Iamante. Man. Whew. You got Ivan Tapia. He's been really doing things in Latin America. I mean, shaking and moving. This is why I came here to this organization, you guys, to bring this real raw, okay? Pip talk coming out my jaw. Now, you can see here we're looking to short in this particular area, okay? Based off here, I would like to see prices drop. Price can drop. I'll short below 134.63, okay? My stop loss, I want my stop loss to be above 134.76. So this is our whole area, okay? It's your job to count the pips. And then in order for you to determine how much you want to risk, you're going to calculate your risk amount, okay? You're going to divide that by the stop size in pips, and that'll give you the lot size to put on the trade. I would say that you've got trouble when you get down here. Not only do you have a moving average, but you got a little speed bump you have to worry about. So if you're looking to go long past there, don't. Because price could bounce. You also have this in your way. So this is a quick 1-to-1, okay? Keep that in mind. It is a quick 1-to-1. That means as soon as price gets halfway to, I'm actually going to say about right there, 134.55, you should probably be moving your stop loss to break even because it's at the halfway point. That means I will take my stop loss and I will move it there, okay? So I can't lose on the trade. It makes sense, guys? I hope it makes sense. Let me see. Give me a second there. Give me a second. Boom. Right there. So that would be my stop loss. But for now, we're not triggered in yet. Boom. You're going to be doing a sell stop market order. All right? Make sure you understand me. You're following me. Sell stop market. I'm giving it to you real raw. All right. Let's go back to the trade from the indicator. And up. Trend. Can't forget about trend, right? So in this case, we want to look at the daily, 4-hour, and then the hourly. You were looking to short. We were looking to, wait, what trade was that, channel? Were we looking to short it or short it, right? All right. I got bad news for you guys. Okay. Good news is it's a signal. Okay. Bad news is you're looking at an uptrend, okay, on our higher time frame. Okay. You're also looking at some bullish candlesticks that are moving to the upside. I am not bearish until I get here. I'm just going to keep it honest with you. So I will not be shorting just because of what I see on this weekly. Based on here, this is where I would like to be a bear. Now, I will give you a caveat. The weekly is a little far away from the 1 hour. So let's go to the daily. What do you think about the daily? I don't like it, Chandler. I don't like it, bearish. Do you guys see what I see? Let me say it again. Do you see what I see? Look at his top and tail. You see it? You see it? Look at him. You see that? Right? This topping tail is what I was telling you guys about. This is a bullish engulfing. This bullish engulfing is what I was talking about. All in a nice area. They're at a moving average. Also, what have you gotten? You've gotten higher lows. Price has been forming higher lows. So with that being said, I don't feel that good shorting right there. I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. Okay, it's been choppy. So the one thing I would say that gives you a little bit of insight in your favor is the fact that you've been choppy. Green, green, red, red, green. Okay, but every time it gets here, what does it do over the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days? That means for the past week, every time we've got up to the 134.75 level, we rejected. The highest was 130, say 135. So that does hold well for us. The price has been rejecting off that area each time, but I don't expect it to do much besides come down and maybe bounce off of the 8-period moving average. At most, the 21. Okay? And what is my 4 hours saying? Okay. So, if we ignore what the weekly is showing us, and we strictly look at the daily and the 4 hour, you can see exactly where the sentiment came from. It's been range bound on this 4 hour. It's also been choppy on the daily. You're seeing a topping tail at the top of the range. Look at this range. Okay. This whole range here. Oh. Price has been sitting inside this range as it's bounced off there, bounced off here. You don't want to go long right there. It's also not the best idea to be long in the middle of here. But if I'm shorting, I'm going to be cognizant. Maybe have a target there. So this is a very nice trade. I like it. I like it for the simple fact that it's sitting here at the top of the range. Kudos, hats off to swipe trades. Shouts out to swipe trades. Swiper, mo swiping, right? Swiper, mo swiping. Not no swiping, mo swiping. Yeah, we need more swiping. All right, let's see if we get one more in. One more in before we go. And then I'll try to address some questions. Scratch that. Bitcoin. Let's look at some crypto real quick. So we want to make this like a dual session, right? It's kind of like, this is just a beautiful uptrend. It's a very healthy uptrend. Just good. I love it. You know what else I love? I love this floor right here that's formed. It's like just sitting a cup on a table. Look at that floor. Okay, price came in just sitting there, bounced right off this little floor right there. It looks very, very good. Very, very good. And then look at the moving average. And then higher low, higher low, higher low. Oh my goodness. So we have a nice area where you could actually go long on Bitcoin here in this particular area on the 4 hour. I would have my stop loss probably below this pivot because this thing can swing. But this is a very nice move down. Bearish candle, bearish candle, bearish candle. Bullish candlestick sitting here right here at this area. And it's been moving up quite nicely, okay? For those of you that got in Bitcoin when it dropped, you were smart, okay? I want to see if I could show you something. Go down to 3,000. Well, what do you see? You go down here and you can see bottoming tail, little bottoming tail, another bottoming tail right there. And then all of a sudden it exploded because of these small candlesticks. And then off of this move, you had what? Price just started a beautiful uptrend. It was a beastie uptrend. Okay? And it's very volatile, but nonetheless, it's still been moving its way up. Respectful moves. Okay? Let's go back to the end. There we go. So now we're expecting to see it continue its ascent up. I also see a little trend line in there. see if I can draw it from. Right there. There you go. So you can see a point of contact here. You got a point of contact there. Point of contact here. Point of contact there. And another point of contact there. If you were plotting that trend line, you just saw it, you were able to take advantage of it. Oh my goodness, it looks so good. I promise you it does. So before you go, I want to make sure that you guys know how to reach me, okay? For those of you that are already a part of iMarkets, congratulations, okay? For those of you that not had the opportunity to be able to get access to this glorious market called forex and the glorious crypto market and the many products that we offer here at iMarkets Live, we're doing a special promotion. Now, if you want to get access to me, Mr. Wall Street, get special access to my Pip Talk sessions where I'm going deep, okay? I got a special promotion for you. For those of you that are already registered, congratulations. For those of you that are already a part of Trade House, congratulations. I thank you. Hats off to you because you're taking care of yourself, okay, for once. But this is something that will help you for a lifetime. But for those of you who are looking to reach me, you can find me on my website, reginaldringo.com, or you can just go to imarketslive.com, and if you try to sign up, you must have a special promotion code. Well, that special promotion code is Pip Talk. Okay? I am Mr. Wall Street coming to you live, and it has been a pleasure. Until next time.